Check out this video.
Senator, you're up for election in 3 short years. What are your thoughts on it?
I'm sorry, I had a hard time hearing you.
That's okay. What are your thoughts on running for re-election in 2026?
What are my thoughts about what?
Running for re-election in 2026.
That's
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026? All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute. Senator. Penny.
okay.
Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell frozen like a statue. One of the strangest things I've seen. That was during a press conference today in Kentucky, the state he represents. He's 81 years old. What's wrong with him? This was him last month too. Watch.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. We're on a path to finishing the NDA. This week has been good bipartisan cooperation and a string of
Okay, Mitch? Anything else you want to say, or should we just go back to your office? Do you want to say anything else to the press? Go back.
Go ahead, John.
I'll take it back. Let's go back to you.
Go ahead, John.
So bizarre. All right, I want to get your take on what is going on with Mitch McConnell. But he's an old man. He's 81 years old. He looks just like people in nursing homes, yet he has immense power in the control of our country, which is scary. Sean Whalen just posted that if America was attacked, this man would have a say on if we went to war. Your tax dollars, government spending, our kids' education, national security, all in the hands of this guy and a few other people like Dianne Feinstein, Joe Biden, who are all nearing their deathbed. And honestly, that's all on us for electing those. I didn't vote for people that old, but for people whose minds are not there anymore, honestly, if your vote really counts, then that's on you for voting for them. But I do have questions on whether your vote really counts at this point, too. Anyway, a McConnell aide said that he had felt lightheaded around the time that he just completely froze like a statue. Now, earlier this year, he did fall, hit his head, have a concussion, and fracture his ribs. So he's in pretty bad shape. He wouldn't be up for re-election until 2026. Hopefully, he does not run again. He's just not fit, clearly. So CNN had their medical expert weigh in. They said it could be dehydration, a medication he was on, or he could have had a seizure or a mini stroke. Checking your comments, Susan says, eyes diverted to the upper right, face, body frozen, mute, unresponsive, transient, ischemic attack, space occupying brain lesion, needs MD eval, brain MRA, cerebral. What is all this you're saying? Okay. Medical commentary there. Where are his family? Exactly. Yeah. He just needs to go be with his family and retire. He's old enough. He needs to retire. Turtle lost his shell, you said. Yes, he really does look like the turtle. But now a very, very elderly looking turtle. His age has really caught up to him. When I used to work in Kentucky, I interviewed him back then, actually. But that was about a decade ago. He was much more with it. That's it. You're saying it, as they scream in the back, reboot, reboot. Yeah, is he a robot that needs rebooting? Like, that's what it looked like. It was just so bizarre. Poor guy. Hopefully he can just go retire and allow someone who actually represents the people to take his place, and someone who's really going to have a spine and stand up for individual liberty. That's what we need. I'm sure there's got to be someone like that in Kentucky. He is a classic career politician, and maybe this is an example of why we need term limits. Okay, real quick, we're going to jump into the latest with this triple-demic. Real quick shout out to the sponsor of my coverage. A surging national debt is bullish for gold. The debt ceiling drama ended with nominal budget cuts and a shiny new credit card with no limit for the federal government. Bank of America senior analyst recently told the Wall Street Journal big stock market rally will be followed by a big collapse. Are you prepared to protect your retirement savings for at least another year of the current administration? Well, the time for gold is here. Demand is soaring. Let National Gold Group show you options for investing in precious metals like gold and silver in your retirement accounts and for direct delivery. Take advantage of the best deal in precious metals. Mention my channel, Ivory Hacker, and pay no fees when you roll over your IRA and invest your IRA or 401k in physical gold and silver. Qualified accounts will receive their lifetime fee waiver on rollovers through 2023. Call 888-617-5927. That number's down in my description. You can get a free investor guide today in my description as well. National Gold Group is a Consumer Affairs top-rated gold IRA dealer. Call 888-617-5927. Add the power of gold to your portfolio. There's always a risk of loss. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Guys, did you see on Friday, Joe Biden had something to do about his plans for all these new people who are supposedly coughing and sneezing right now? Apparently, there's a lot of new people coughing and sneezing. I'm not so sure that's true. Maybe it is. But of course, Joe Biden's answer is more pharmaceuticals in your arm. This is what he said Friday, and people are not responding well.
I signed off this morning on a proposal we have to present to the Congress a request for additional funding for new that is necessary, that works. And tentatively, not decided finally yet, tentatively it is recommended that, or will likely be recommended that everybody get it, no matter whether they got it before or not.
Well, that just set a lot of Americans off. Oh, everyone needs to get this? Where have we heard that before? Oh, yeah, that's what he was trying to ram down our throats 2 years ago. There is a video that's getting a lot of reaction of one man. I think he's speaking for many, many Americans in his reaction to what Joe Biden said. Here it is.
I promise you, I was born free. And I will be damned if you make something to where I gotta take it. If you want to fuck around and find out the fastest way you can, do that shit. This is not a dictatorship. This is not nothing. And you motherfuckers that follow this shit, don't fucking run up on me. I promise you, don't fucking run up on me. Cause this ain't a motherfucking dictatorship. If a million other people want to take this shit you come out with, do what the fuck you want to do. But I know for a fact in this great country in United States of America, you can't fucking make me take nothing. And all y'all punk ass Republicans sitting around just doing all this talking, I don't want to hear no more talking for no more Republicans. You in a position where you can stop these folk. Y'all better stop them folk. Cause one thing about it is 85 million more motherfucking people like me that'll move your ass out they way for trying to step on my toes. I was born free, I'ma live free, and I'ma die free, and so is my kids. And if I gotta stand on solid rock like founding fathers had to do before, then that's what it is, cause enough is a fucking enough. I'm done, yo. Fuck Joe Biden, fuck the Democrats, and fuck any politician that don't fucking do anything to help us. Fuck you. But it'll be a cold day in hell for you make me take anything. So at the end of the day, I'm willing to die about this shit. I'm willing to die about my freedom. I'm willing to die about my medical independence. I'm willing to die about everything except, boy, I won't be a motherfucking slave and you won't force me to do nothing. And I'm standing 10 toes on that shit, bitch. So all I got to say to you in that video, try that shit and fuck around and find out.
Whew. That's America's boiling sentiment. Hearing many Americans feeling this way, like you put us through that stuff a couple years ago when we were blind to what's going on. We were scared, some of us, and you're not going to pull that on us anymore. You want to try? People going to be dropping the founding fathers' names. They're going to talk about dying for this. It's getting heated. So he's saying, you watch out, Joe, with this. Everyone should get it. Right now, Joe said it's a recommendation. That guy had heard that it may be a mandate. And we know that our friend A. Jones has been dropping intel from one of his sources in the government who's saying they are planning on some serious mandates coming in the coming months. We know that Joe Biden tried to mandate these needles in the arm, and then it was struck down by the Supreme Court. So this guy is just saying, look ahead of time, don't even try it. And if enough Americans voice this sentiment, I think our government officials will get the drift that it is not gonna fly. But I think a lot of people have to start speaking up like him in order for that to, for them to not even try it, because they want to keep pushing and trying more mandates. That's the slippery slope that Friedrich Hayek talked about, the encroaching slow growth of government to control you. And he said, nope, we're not in a dictatorship yet, and it's not going to happen in my children's lifetime. And I'm going to make sure of that. So I don't know who that guy is, and I just played the highlights there, but Marjorie Taylor Greene's the one who posted him. It's getting huge reaction. If you guys know who he is, let me know. And if you want to see his full rant, go to Marjorie Taylor Greene's Instagram account for that. All right, Bloomberg and other outlets are just reporting today that the majority of U.S. dog owners are now skeptical of getting the needle for their dog. Preventing rabies? Yeah, they're wondering if they even need to do that anymore. And this is due to a huge growth in anti-needle, anti-pharmaceutical sentiment that has happened since the pandemic. All the ramming of pharmaceuticals down people's arms has backfired. And now people don't even want to give their dogs anything. That's big developing news today. Yikes, let alone their kids. The other thing I was so something that's being shared on social media is an advisory out of Australia on giving the needle to people while they are sedated. And it raised some alarm because it talked about, let me see if I can find the line, about, the needle may also be administered opportunistically while patients are undergoing sedation for unrelated procedures. This was advisory given by the Australian Technical Advisory Group on preventing illness. I can't say any trigger words here on YouTube. They're ramping censorship back up again. But anyway, fact checkers swarmed on this one too. The idea that you're getting sedated, maybe you're getting surgery or something, and they're just gonna stick something in your arm without your knowledge. That scared a lot of people, and the way it's worded, it sounds that way. Now I'm looking at the full advice, this full page that on advice. The opening line, to provide an overview of the principles for the use of sedation as one of a range of measures to assist in the safe administration of the new pharmaceutical needle in the arm. Now, reading this full context, it does seem that what they meant by giving you the needle when you're sedated is that this is an option for people who have needle phobia. that, if you are just too scared of getting it, one option is sedation. It seems to, that seems to be what they really meant by it. But we all know that there are needle enthusiasts in healthcare who would probably gladly stretch that a little further and say it's for your own good. I'm just going to stick this in their arm while they're asleep in the hospital. And more people are avoiding hospitals because there are, there's people like that there that don't care about informed consent, that don't care about your own best interests. And people trust their doctors less and less. The truth has come out about the protocol during the pandemic, which was a copy and paste, government funded, incentivized protocol for treating patients that was not actually working well at all. Yet it was systematically deployed identically at hospitals across America. And when you look at it, was likely, especially looking at many of the individual stories of these patients, likely led to a higher death rate. And doctors kind of turned the other way and didn't want to ask questions for fear of losing their jobs. And the few doctors who were given the liberty, such as Dr. Joseph Verone, who when I left Fox, he's the first one I featured, the owner of his hospital was looser with the rules and said, you can have the liberty to, use your own prior knowledge on what works against these sort of symptoms. And he was able to save 4 times more lives by using his prior knowledge, whereas other doctors put blinders on. Well, it does seem a lot like the flu, but I'm not going to treat it like the flu because, I'm being told this is a brand new thing. So we're going to use some questionable treatments, and we saw a massive death rate due to that. So anyway, that caused people to lose a lot of faith in their doctors and realize that doctors are just bought and paid for, unfortunately, by the pharmaceutical industry. And I was just saying, apparently, so my trainer who's keeping me in shape right now, his brother is a doctor, and he was just saying that his brother can attest. His brother is saying also that he went to medical school to be trained to give people pharmaceuticals. That's it. Like, just which pharmaceutical goes for which illness, nothing else about your lifestyle or other ways to be healthy. Just, here's something in the arm or here's a pill to pop. And so people's eyes are being opened to that. And fewer and fewer people are going to the doctor. Actually, a lot of people are trying to figure out, how can I avoid the doctor at all costs? I wanted to mention that here in Texas, where I live, they have new laws. State legislature has new laws going into effect this Friday, September 1st. All the outlets are reporting that Texas will now have an official ban on any mandates related to the pandemic. So here in Texas, we are a safe haven as Joe Biden rolls out his hysteria that it is against our government's ability now to, they can't mandate masks, they can't mandate needles in the arm, and they cannot mandate that you shut down your business or anything else. No lockdowns. So that's exciting for Texas, standing up for people's freedom just in the nick of time. They also implemented a new law on books in schools. It's a rating system, kind of like movies, PG-13, rated R. Now they're rating books going into the schools. Let me read something on this real quick. So, sexually explicit books, House Bill 900 brings a big change that will happen in school libraries. By next April, book vendors will have to assign ratings to books based on depictions or reference to sex. Books deemed sexually explicit would be removed from bookshelves. Those deemed sexually irrelevant will require parents' permission for the student to check the book out. What an idea. I think that's a cool idea. And that has just become law as of this coming Friday here in Texas. That was at KHOU reporting that news. And I mean, I would still just homeschool, wouldn't teach. I would not trust a government employee to raise my kid whatsoever. But all you guys are going to do that? Cool. I'm going to stick with homeschooling. Anyway, there's another law going into effect in Texas. Oh, they're banning election administrators only in Harris County, which is the county seat of this is where Houston is located. It's the biggest city, biggest county in Texas. So starting in 2020, the biggest city, the biggest population in Texas decided to try election administrators instead of county clerks to run elections in this county. And it didn't go well. So they're abolishing election administrators, going back to county clerks and tax assessor collector. But the thing is, there were a slew of problems with those guys too. 2019, I covered the election for mayor in Houston, and the county clerk was trying to, she had a system set up that was caught by the Secretary of State's office where they would illegally transfer votes through an intranet, which is susceptible to hackers. I guess it's believed to be a little safer than internet. So sending those raw votes through the internet, through an intranet. But that was also very susceptible to hackers. Weeks before the election, maybe a week before the election, very short notice, the Secretary of State's office says, hey, we told you this is illegal. You're still going to do this? Do not do this. And so she kind of was like, oh, I'm sorry. She was caught. So that was the county clerk. So to me, it doesn't matter if it's a county clerk or an elections administrator. Other, I know other counties like Dallas County have election administrators at least they did when I was covering elections there a few years ago. So I don't know if this is going to help the election situation. Houston is still plagued by election issues. It's just elections are tough to keep, to keep them clean, to keep your vote really counting. Anyway, the other law that I thought was interesting going into effect here in Texas on Friday is a ban on hair discrimination. You cannot discriminate against someone based on their hair now. And I guess that was due to a couple kids that went to school with dreadlocks and they were ordered to cut their dreadlocks. Now you cannot order someone to cut their dreadlocks anymore, or, to readjust their hair based on their race anymore. And, as a TV news reporter, I thought that was cool because TV news reporters are subjected to a lot of control. I don't know if this law extends to TV or if it's just government entities like government schools, but, to be able to tell my boss, like, sorry, I'm of Swedish descent. Swedes historically have long, straight hair, and so I'm going to have long, straight hair. What are you going to do about it? Are you racist? It's against the law. That would have been cool because you definitely felt this pressure in TV news not to have the long, straight hair that you were born with. Speaking for myself, I felt, it was like, you've got to shorten it up. You've got to do the waves. You've got to have that cliche TV look. And anyway, so, but no, I get that there's, in business, in all of life, if you look a certain way, you're accepted a certain way. Like, people will receive you differently based on how you look. So I think it should be everyone's freedom to decide, do I want to look the way that I want to be treated? And that doesn't go for everyone, but in general, people, if you're dressed in a business suit, people will treat you differently than if you're dressed in, sweats or raggedy clothes. you know, or if you're wearing a nice hairstyle and makeup, you look different than if you're wearing, you know, if you're looking homeless. So in that there's also, and there's a natural born incentive in economics. We call it the invisible hand of the free market. There's a natural incentive to look a certain way to get a certain result. And so in some ways we should just let the free market, the invisible hand of the market, control whether we want to look a certain way or not. Like, I didn't want to show up on YouTube looking homeless because I might get less views. But anyway, but it's just interesting that there's now a law in Texas against hair discrimination as well. I just thought I'd throw all that in there. Oh, thanks for the super chat. Johnny, you look great. I'm a Heinz 57. What's a Heinz 57? I don't know. Heinz is ketchup, right? Anyway, checking all your comments. I appreciate your support. You can definitely drop a comment when I hang up the live stream. It'll help my algorithm, and share this with your friends. And thanks for supporting my channel, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.